Welcome into another episode of Coach's Corner. Jordan Woodruff with you, and joined today by track coach Brad Parent. Great to have you along, Coach.
Thank you for having me.
And it's here, a little bit of track and field season, and it comes at you fast when I guess you start seeing some of those trees start budding, even though not everything's budding and green yet. That means you're out there getting ready for track and field.
Very true, very true. Just got off the basketball floor with the high school boys, so but it is it's refreshing to get outside. Being indoors too long kind of kills me, but now we're in full swing with track. In fact, we have our first meet, hopefully we'll have it on Thursday, and we're going to go to Putnam City and run down there. There's going to be about 10 teams, I believe. They've knocked that down to 10 this year, so who knows? We're going to see what happens. I haven't been with them yet. Basically, I've been with them for about 2 weeks, but so we're going to find out what we can do.
Well, real quick, we're in the conference, and we know with other sports it may be a bigger thing, like basketball, which you're with, of course, because you have your schedule set out. Mm-hmm. Track and field, is there a benefit of being in the conference? And you're saying you're going to Putnam City, for instance. Right. So how does that work? Because even though you may be going to a conference school as much as possible, there'll be some out-of-conference schools that are also there.
Yeah, definitely. We try to go to our conference schools track meets. Last year we did a real good job with that, actually. This year, not so much. There was a couple of our conference partners that weren't having a track meet this year, so we're going to get out of conference a little bit more this year. We get to go to Bartlesville, trying to think, Edmond North, we're going to go there, so we're going to see a few more teams this year that are out of conference, but as much as we can, we like to go in conference and go against them, because we do have a conference track meet at the end of the year, so we like to get on the tracks and run there. Midwest City is where I believe the conference track meet is this year. Midwest City does have a meet this year. Not sure if we're going to get to go to that or not, but who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, and when it comes to track, a lot of kids are in other sports that are also in track. And you talked about you just been going for 2 weeks because you were with basketball.
Right.
But for the kids, a lot of them that played winter sports, they're just now transitioning over to track and field as well.
Yeah, exactly. We've got the basketball girls. There's a few of them out there. I can't remember all their names right off because I've just gotten out there, but one that rings a bell right off, Kira Allison, she'll be running the 300 hurdles for us this year. She may go ahead and run some other events too, but right now she's going to concentrate on the 300 hurdles. Laylee Allen, I never say her name right.
Laylee Allen,
yeah. She's shot put and disc for us. Then we have Peyton Miner and Allison Duncan. This is her first year to come out. She's going to also throw the shot and disc. We do have a senior that's throwing this year, Brianna Lee, that I believe is going to be signing also today with Cali. So good for her. About 2 p.m. today at that with the Robson. So congratulations to her. Then I think we've got 1 or 2 other seniors that are coming out this year to throw the shot and disc. Haven't seen them as much this year so far. But kind of young in some spots there. Then we have sprinters. We've got some basically new sprinters this year that we haven't seen before. Probably, I want to say about 6 freshmen in that area. So quite a few young girls. We hopefully get a good look at them Thursday if the weather's good for us. But and then we're going to go from there. But so far, what we've had is everybody showing up to work out, and it's everybody's showing up and doing a good job. So hopefully, again Thursday, hopefully we'll get to see.
Well, and you're kind of right now. You're in the analyzing stage, I would imagine, right? Because I think we were talking a little off air that about half the kids you're going to have out there is somewhat new as well.
Yeah,
so I mean, you're trying to analyze what they do. Now, getting to the meets, you have to figure out how you're going to put them in certain contests. I certainly agree with that.
Yes.
But at the same time, once you get them there and you start seeing them go against other competition, things start really formulating of what you have going forward, right?
Exactly, yeah. And we have Micah Estrada, who was the girls' basketball assistant at high school. She's helping me. She's doing the sprinters this year. So that's her job on that part. It was interesting yesterday. She was running them, and then we got to talking and saying, she said, hey, I need this, this, and this with these girls. I said, hey, that's your job. Go ahead, get that done. Sam Barron is our distance runners coach. He was with cross country this year, so he's got a great relationship with those girls. So we said, hey, that's a good fit right there. We've got, I want to say, 2 new girls for distance this year. I think it's Julia Looper and Lauren King that are out now to run because that relationship with Sam has brought them over to track now. So we're still trying to build.
Well, and track and field with the coaches. I mean, we've talked about that, and I think it's like this at most schools. A lot of the coaches, you're doing a lot of other stuff, and then track's kind of the end. And the thing about track and field, I don't really know if you really call yourself a head or an assistant. It's kind of everybody comes together, and this is your focus. I'm focusing on the hurdles. I'm focusing on long distance. I'm focusing on the sprinters. So it's kind of an interesting collection and interesting structure when it comes to track and field.
Right, it is. And like you said, the head coach, you're supposed to know a little bit about everything. And I was telling you earlier, the pole vault's the one that nobody wants to touch that. That's taboo right there. But yeah, it is. I did actually coach it probably about 10, 15 years ago, and it was interesting. Let's just say.
Did you ever get on the pole vault?
No, I never did. No, I not enough confidence for that right there.
I don't know how they do it, quite honestly. We have any pole vaulters?
We do actually, but mostly right now I do know that there's I want to say 3 or 4 boys that are pole vaulting. Now girls, I've only had one come to me and say they would like to try, but that's the interesting parts.
So, and what do you do in that situation? Because, like I said, with this, I mean, it could be shot putting. Somebody maybe hasn't done that. You understand the basic concept and rules, but it's not like you can get out there and maybe coach like in another sport. So, what do you do when you have a kid that does something that maybe you don't have a coach that has an expertise in that area?
Well, like last year, we kind of leaned on. There's a coach at Newkirk that knows a little bit about the pole vault, so we leaned towards her a little bit last year and asked her, hey, what's some techniques, drills that we need to work on? So that worked out well for us. But just calling other coaches around the state that you know and are familiar with, and just asking them how to get that done.
Well, and that's the other thing I think with track and field. There's a camaraderie to it, and I'm not saying there's not with other sports as well, but you go to this meet, there's 10 or 15 schools there, you're all there. You do your event, and then you may have a lot of time. So you're talking to other kids. You're competing against those kids. The coaches, they're all trying to help each other. They want to just see what's best for the kids, even if it's not their own. So it's a little bit different, I think, the camaraderie in track and field, right?
Yeah, well, and just in that case right there, my cousin's a head coach at UConn. I can't remember how far back this was, but they had a very good high school high jumper. So I've, hey, Matt, what did you do? And he said, well, personally, I stayed out of the way. But he said we had a high jump coach, and so I've asked them a few things. What's your steps? How do you do it? How do you approach? So now, there's a lot of coaches out there that'll help you out.
Yeah. Well, next thing, we've talked about this with every coach in the spring sports. The weather is always interesting, and maybe more so than actually just being cold or hot, and you never know what you're going to get it every day. You're dodging rain, naturally. But the other thing is the mental part of it, right? For the kids. And in track and field, that's big because, the kids are sitting there and it's like, hey, are we going to even go run today? Or are we going to do this? Or is this going to be postponed? So I'd imagine the mentality is really tough with the weather when it comes to track and field.
You got to stay focused, exactly, because there's been a few times we've been on the bus traveling and we get the call, hey, we got to cancel. It's raining, it's snowing, it's too cold. Now, we had a case last year where we went to Pawhuska. It is, I want to say the temperature was around 34 degrees most of the meet, and we're sitting out there freezing. We've got snow, we've got sleet, and all the coaches, even the other coaches, were sitting around going, hey, should we really be out here doing this? But they ran it, and it was fun for me to watch, but I know the kids were like miserable. And they're, why are we doing this, Coach? Like, well, they said we're going to run it, so we're going to run it.
We're here.
Yeah, we're here.
You got to, and you know what? All those kids, it's kind of like playing football in the snow, right?
Yeah.
It's like you don't maybe like it as much when you're doing it, but after it's over, you have a great memory.
Oh yeah, you got that memory right there. We didn't take a lot of kids that day because it was a smaller class meet, but we took ones that maybe hadn't been to a few meets, and they enjoyed it. They really did. It was just, I'm freezing. I said, I understand, but go run. You'll warm up.
No doubt. And that's the thing, too, when it comes to track and field. you don't want the clothing is different. It's not like you're wearing sweats. I mean, you're having to wear because you're limiting your friction and everything like that. Or you don't want to get hung in the pole vault. You don't want to get hung and knock a bar down in high jump.
Exactly.
So the clothing is a little bit different. So when it's cold out there, I guess you're wearing your sweats until it's time to go.
It's time to go. Yeah. And in that point, last year they said, can we run in our sweats? I said, if the starter says you're good to go in your sweats, run in your sweats. It's that cold. I don't care. I understand. You're cold. You're freezing. If they say you can run those sweats, run those sweats. But yeah, we do have our uniform, and it's all real specific and this and that. Now, when you run your relays, you have to look alike.
Right.
When you don't run your relays, you don't really have to look alike. So that was kind of tough on that point. But yeah, it just you never know what weather you're going to get, especially here in Oklahoma.
No.
So it could be freezing in the morning. It could be nice and sunny in the afternoon. So it's like we always tell them, hey, you better bring warm clothes, shorts, sunscreen. Yeah, you just don't know.
Yeah, you don't. You better have your pack ready to go.
Exactly.
Right? All right. Let's talk about, and like I said, I know you're kind of getting in, you're analyzing the situation, but let's talk about maybe some of the kids that you have coming back and some of the ones that you think could be standouts this year in certain events.
Yeah, Kira Allison is one that the 300 hurdles, that's really what she wants to work at right now.
It doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah,
she could be good at that because I've seen her be fast and she can jump too.
Exactly. We had her in the long jump last year, but she decided, hey, that's not for me. Hey, that's fine. We'll do what you need to do. What works best for you. She very fast, and her 300 last year, I believe we had. I want to say she was around 50 seconds. So we're trying to knock that down, of course. So we're working more towards that. We've watched a few videos. We've done talked to a few coaches trying to help out and get her form better. So that's one thing I'm really looking forward to Thursday, is seeing how she can run the 300 hurdles. Brianna Lee throwing the shot and disc. Last year, that was Coach Green and Coach Freeman, the shot and disc coach, so I'm not sure of all their distances right now, but looking at what they just gave me the other day, it looks like she has gotten better, so we're looking forward to seeing how far she can throw this year. Leilani Allen, she a thinner person throwing the shot and disc, but she does an excellent job, and looking forward to seeing how much she's gained this year. Then our sprinters, we got a new sprinter. I don't want to say all their names because I can't remember all of them, but I know, I believe her Emma Strong, I think is her name. She played volleyball, so she's out this year, and she's going to run, I believe, the 100 and the 200. Then we got Audrey Varner, who is a sprinter also. She's from softball. So we're going to see what she can do this year. So it's kind of exciting for the new ones. Now, on the ones that we've had, like Annie Leeming and, let me think here, Annie Leeming and Dallin Sackett. Annie Leeming and Dallin Sackett both were distance runners last year. Annie's staying with the distance. Dallin's going to come with the sprinters this year. So we're going to see how that works out for her. But Annie's, like I told her the other day, I said, hey, Annie, I'm not going to be out there yelling at you as much because I'm not your distance coach this year. And she said, oh, my gosh. She said, I loved that when you would yell at me. And I said, yeah, I'm sure you did. But Annie's running, I believe she's going to run the mile and the 2 mile this year. So just looking forward to seeing how much of a gain she's made, how much time she's knocked off on that. But, I'm excited. I'm real excited. That's what I told Coach Mack when I got there. I said, man, I'm ready to go. Let's go now.
Well, you don't have much time
to wait. I don't have much time now, do I?
Let's hope the weather cooperates, right?
Exactly.
So anything else you want to get out there before we let you go?
We will we'll take spring break off, and then we come back, and I believe when we come back that Friday on the 24th is we'll go to Bartlesville, and then the next week I want to say we're going to Edmond North. I can't remember our schedule, but I think our schedule is out on the website, pcps.us, so you can look at that. I believe our home meet, is it April, I want to say 8th. I may be wrong. 6th?
Look at the schedule.
Look at the schedule. But the home meet's in April. Come out and see the kids run. It'll be a great time. You'll get to see lower class, higher class, because it's 4A and below, and 5A and up.
Yeah.
So you'll get to see all kinds of different kids competing there.
Pretty much every weekend, but spring break you're hooked up now.
Pretty
right?
much, yeah. Pretty much.
So, well, Coach, appreciate your time. Best of
Yeah.
luck this season, and let's go. Let's go get some girls and guys qualified for state.
Heck
How about
yeah,
it?
that'll be the thing right there. That's what we want.
All right. Well, thank you very much, man.
All right, appreciate you.
All right. That's Coach Brad Parent, and that's going to do it for today's Coach's Corner. Jordan Woodruff saying so long. Until next time, go Cats.